had mentors from afar, people that they ain't never heard of me. I ain't never seen them, but I was just inspired by what they were doing, and I was listening to these stories. I remember, a great podcast I was listening to was How I Built This, NPR podcast. Amazing. It's like hearing these stories. Again, the thing I love about that podcast, because it was no fluff. It was the stories of the grind and the hustle, and those are the stories that I love. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 9% Show. I'm your host, Steven Burton, and here at the 9%, y'all know we keep everything 100. If I haven't done it, not doing it, or not about to do it, it will not come out my mouth. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 9% Show. And like we always do around this time, we give a toast to the 9%ers out there and those that would like to get into the 9% Club one day. Toast to y'all. Toast to y'all. Okay, so we are still slowly creeping into 2025. It is coming. It is coming. And y'all know around this time of year, people get their New Year resolutions. And always one of the biggest goals going into the New Year's, I want to start a business. I want to start a business. We recently did an episode on what you should be thinking about, if that should be your, thing to start a business. Is that for you? But now we're going to talk about starting a business in 2025 and overcoming fear and self-doubt. Because a lot of you are thinking about, hey, this is going to be my year to get it. And then at the same time when you're thinking that, you're thinking like, nah, I don't know, this ain't it. Like that fear creeps in. It takes me back to when I launched perfecttux. And like I said, I quit my job cold turkey to launch perfecttux. And I remember when I was about to quit my job, and like the day of that came, and I was so scared, and I just literally had to push fear, like just back down and just march through and keep going. So I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly what you're going through. I've made it to the other side and let you know you're still going to be alive. Okay, your arms still work, your legs still work, everything's still good. After you get past fear, it's almost like you get through that, and you're like, whoa, this wasn't that bad. But it is real. Okay, it is very real. It is a hard thing to overcome. So as you are planning your goals into 2025, and maybe you are have a goal to start a business, we are going to talk about this fear and self-doubt. We're going to talk about ways to overcome it, to things that I went through, and hopefully they resonate with you out there, that for those that might be going through the same thing, okay? So I'm going to give you 5 things to think about to help you overcome fear and self-doubt when starting a new business, okay? So the first thing we are going to talk about is understand what is holding you back, okay? What exactly is holding you back? Is it a fear of failure? Maybe a fear of judgment with your friends and family and your peers and all that stuff. Maybe it's the fear of the financial risk. What exactly is it that's holding you back? Again, I just gave you the example of, when I was, about to start perfecttux, and just my biggest fear was that it was really the fear of the unknown. Like, I did not know what was going to happen. I thought I did. I thought I had a good vision. I thought I was capable of it. I had the skill set to do it, but I just didn't know. I knew I had so much time to make things pop. I was living off of debt. Credit card debt just to start the business. Like, I did all this stuff just to make this thing happen, and I knew my clock was ticking down. But so when you really want to understand what's holding you back. So if it's like a fear of failure, I always looked at a fear of failure like, I guess I can't say I always, because at one point I didn't have something to lean on, like my history to lean on. But right now it's like, and even if I would say, if you could put it to anything else where you could find, like, you made it through a situation in the past, like, I'm still here. God got me through it. I don't know how. I don't know how I paid that bill. I don't know how I got through this dilemma. Thinking about the moments and that you're like here today, that's always helped me get past the fear of failure, because you just realize that you're still alive, you're still ticking. And a lot of times for me, even when things didn't always go my way in the past, they always led to something else. I have never had a moment where I just failed and flat fell on my face and like literally picked myself up and just started over and I didn't know what happened. Every quote unquote failure I had literally was a pivot. It led to something else. So I've honestly never felt just pure failure. And, and maybe everybody's not like me. And, maybe people got some stories. I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody, but I am a true believer that, God makes a plan for you and wants to see you be successful and, abundant life. And, won't dive deep into the scriptures right now, but I passionately believe that, and so if you believe that yourself, you have to jump and take that leap of faith and understand that you go bust through that. Talking about a fear of judgment, friends, family, peers. It's a humbling thing. I think back when I was doing music and as an artist and all this stuff. And even though I had my successes there, I was, licensing music for TV shows and movies, songwriting, got a gold record, all this type of stuff. It was really, I was really fearful of not being signed yet or not having some major accomplishments or just people will look at me as just a rapper, whoop-de-whoop. That was hard. Or when you starting a business and you don't want to fail for people that support you, your family. I just had my wife Natasha on the last episode, and I didn't want to fail her. I didn't want her to be after she trusts me and be oh, Steve go hold it down. Be oh, dang, Steve done failed us. Steve done bankrupted the family. So, from that to friends and, I can say with friends is not everybody is matter of fact, most people are not going to understand your journey. They are not going to understand your goals. They're not going to understand just what you're going through. And you got to understand that a lot of people put their fears onto you because they never accomplished something. They failed at something. They wasn't strong enough to get through something. So they can only give you that feedback that comes from their perspective. Okay. So you need to learn how to not let take everything with a grain of salt. Okay. It might be your peers and, coworkers, or maybe somebody you graduated with and you see how they're moving. You just, maybe you think your idea isn't big enough or it's too small or who's going to want to buy this? Who's going to want to get this from me? All of these things are just understanding. Once you understand what it is, you understand how to attack it. But those are the situations where I could say comfortably, who cares about all of that stuff? Focus on you. If it ain't about you and your goals and moving forward, you're literally wasting time even thinking about it. That's the biggest advice there is just worry about you, okay? Financial risk. We've talked about this several times on this show, but that's a real thing that holds people back. I would probably say that's the number one thing. If there was no such thing as a financial risk, everybody would be risking everything, okay? So, but when when you risking your livelihood, your 401ks, your mortgage, your whatever, your savings, it is hard, okay? And that can really hold you back. But overcoming that is just, say it all the time, savings, golly, yeah, if you can have a savings, that's the best thing. But I want to be realistic and say, not everybody got a savings. And not everybody got time to wait for that savings, okay? Because saving $100 a month, $200 a month, that's a long time to wait. Let that add up, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that you can't do it, but, you definitely want to do the things that can minimize that risk and just put yourself in a great position. Like I said, the little things that you can do is having savings, is having great credit. Make sure your credit is established and is in good standing before you start a business, period. Okay, that is something advice I always give, because you will need your credit. And I don't care if you Dave Ramsey out there talking about never use no credit. Okay, no, in business, you will need credit. It just is what it is. Unless you're a millionaire, you will need to tap into something just for business economics and how it works, okay? But, whatever you can do from that standpoint, from financially, but a lot of it is even if you do got a savings, do you want to risk that to lose that? It just depends what it means for you. I had a thought process of the worst that can happen is I can go bankrupt. These millionaires and billionaires I see on the news, okay? If they can do it, I can do it too, okay? And still live, start over. At least I tried, okay? So Yeah, understanding what's holding you back is very important, okay? Number two, you don't need all the answers to start. Realize that, okay? This perfect timing myth is just that, it's a myth. There is no perfect timing for you to start your thing. Like you don't need to have it all figured out. Okay, you don't need to know, okay, your ideal customer. With me and perfecttux, okay, I didn't know who my target audience was, my customer was, until like 6,000 customers in. Hey, that's a good problem to have. I'm glad I had customers, then figured it out, than trying to figure it out while trying to get some customers, okay? But I didn't understand that. I didn't understand what I meant to people, what our brand was, what our story was, all this stuff about, you'll get a lot of advice, what my why was. I mean, my why was like, I wanted to build some wealth and I wanted to start a business. I didn't want to work for nobody. But I didn't have no why of like, yes, I'm passionate about this and oh my goodness, my story and the why I started perfecttux and blah, blah, blah. Like I figured that out while I was going, okay? Getting in more of a, hands-on type of situation with the actual product and the service, my e-commerce website, it was not, it wasn't perfect to start. I had to get feedback from real customers. I talk about that all the time. You get feedback from real customers, then you make some adjustments, then you pivot while you go on. But the thing about it is that you need to start, okay? And then it's okay if you don't have all the answers at the beginning, okay? You just need to start. What you're gonna end up doing is you start small, and you start with these calculated risks. And when you start small and calculated risk, it builds your confidence. Okay, it builds your confidence over time. That is what you're doing here, okay? If you're sitting there and fear is just like stopping you from taking a step forward, okay, take a half step. Okay, just put your thing out there. What if your product you're not sure, like whoop-de-whoop, oh, I'm not great at marketing, I'm not great at this, that, and the third. Okay, everybody, there is few people that got it figured out. I remember when I had a conversation with somebody, because I've never worked in a corporate atmosphere before in my life. I've never had a job in a corporate atmosphere. And I remember asking one of my friends that works in this type of things and, on the career path up. And I was just like, oh, do these managers or CEOs or vice presidents, whatever, do they got the answer? Like, no, they just be just as confused as us. Like, they ain't got the answers. They don't know. And they're talking about me as the CEO of perfecttux, and I was talking about, some of the things I was dealing with, questions. And I was like, wow, they don't know either? Like, I'm like, you got this. It just, that was something that stood out to me to just realize like, okay, don't nobody know, okay? We all working to try to do something to figure it out. There's few people that have reached a level of success that was just like, amazing. And even when you think about that, they got stories on stories to tell you about how it was not easy getting to that point. So no, you do not need all the answers to start. So if that is something that is blocking you and giving you self-doubt and just saying like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this, or I'm not the one for this, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, just know you can start small. Just know perfect timing is not a real thing. And the only people that don't succeed is the people that don't try or don't start. Okay, so you need to somehow get the little train going, the engine that could, and choo yourself along. Okay, that's what we need to do here. All right, we go on to number three. Number three, okay, is the danger of comparison. Okay, you need to stay in your lane. Okay, please. Don't compare your stage with somebody else's established success, okay? That will just lead to more self-doubt, mainly self-doubt, maybe some fear, thinking like, oh, I could never do that. I could never get to that level. Oh, I don't got 200, 300,000 Facebook, Instagram followers. I could never do that. I'm just starting with 2. You cannot compare yourself with others, okay? You need to stay in your lane, stay focused on what you're doing, okay? Do understand that everybody at whatever point you want to point to them at, even me, I started with 0. I remember my first sale with perfecttux. I remember when it came in. I remember the feeling. I remember my first big sale. And I also remember when my first big sale turned into my first big return. Like, I remember these positions and like just the grind. I remember my first 100 sale and then third and getting through. Oh, I got through 6 months. Oh, I just got profitable in like 8 months and blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, we got a year done. We got 2 years done. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, freaking BET's reaching out to me for a commercial during the BET Awards with Mountain Dew. Me, little old me. And then people watching that like, oh my gosh, Steve is just killing it. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. Like, no, like, yeah, I am. I kind of am. But it's been a journey, okay? You can't compare nothing I am doing right now to what you're doing. Hopefully you're watching these videos for the right purpose of just taking some notes and knowing how to attack it. But if you're watching these videos and saying, oh, golly, look what Steve got. Look at what he doing. Look at this beautiful studio. He recording it. I want to start a podcast, but I ain't got no leather chair. Like, it's like, who cares, okay? We had to work towards this. And this is repurposed anyway. If you come into the perfecttux store, you'll see the same exact chair, okay? You can sit in it too. Okay, I didn't buy a new chair, and we just moved it over here. So the point of the matter is, you need to understand your lane and stay in that lane, okay? You need to have your blinders on, focus on what you're doing. It will help, get rid of self-doubt, get rid of the fear, okay, of comparing yourself to others, and just focus on you. That's what you need to do, okay? The fourth thing we are going to talk about to overcoming fear and self-doubt is surround yourself with positivity. Okay. I just remember when I was launching perfecttux, when I was about to quit my job, all I did was read business books, business podcasts, positivity stuff. I spoke before on Steve Harvey talking about Jump at a Family Feud episode. It was just so much stuff that I just had to surround myself with just complete positivity. If it wasn't positive and I was not taking it in, I needed to put myself in the mode where it was just all about success. It was all about you can do it. I wasn't having no conversation. If I knew somebody was a Debbie Downer, they was not in my life at that moment, okay? They was gone. And if they was on my Facebook or something else, they was unfriended quickly. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll probably friend you back later. Or if you realize you ain't my friend right now today, that's probably what was happening. Okay, so check yourself and your negativity. But around me, I needed to stay positive. Okay, I need to surround myself with positive people. Another thing that might be great for you, you might find yourself with some great peers, some mentors to establish yourself or to surround yourself with. I didn't quite have that, but what I did was just, I had mentors from afar, people that they ain't never heard of me, I ain't never seen them, but I was just inspired by what they were doing, and I was listening to these stories. I remember, a great podcast I was listening to was How I Built This, NPR podcast. Amazing. It's like hearing these stories. Again, the thing I love about that podcast because it was no fluff. It was the stories of the grind and the hustle. And those are the stories that I love. I wasn't trying to compare myself to somebody's success. I wanted to compare myself to when they first started because I'm first started. Because let me hear what their stories they went through. How did they get through the self-doubt? How did they get through the fear? That's the stuff I was surrounding myself with. Okay. So that's what you need to all be about. You need to be about positivity, and it really makes a difference. What you surround yourself with, what you speak, what comes out your mouth, it makes a difference. Okay, so really understand that. Understand what's around you, understand what you're taking in, and understand that mentally, it could have an impact on you negatively if you let negativity creep in. All right, so keep things positive. All right. Number 5, okay, we get to the last one, zooming along here, but you need to redefine expectations, okay? We're at the end of 2024 right now. Can anybody believe this is the end of the year? Like, quickly, okay? I don't know what happened. I feel like ever since I stopped school, and I'm talking about high school and stuff, where you don't have these summer breaks, where you go on your little breaks, and it just seemed like life and just stuff was just structured. And as soon as you become an adult, it just go. Cause you probably looking, oh, here's payday coming. Oh, here's 2 more weeks. Oh, the payday again. The next thing you know, 2 paydays is a month, and then a month of this and that. And then you might be looking at one month where it's a 3 check month. You're like, oh, next thing you know, you like, it's summertime. It's this, that, a third. Like, time be flying. Okay, well, maybe I'll know what those examples. I don't know. That's how I was looking at it when I was, my W-2 days. Okay, that's how I was looking at life. But like, time just flies. So you need to understand your goals need to be adjusted too. I mean, I feel like you should always, you want to be realistic with what you're giving yourself. It's good to set some deadlines, but set some realistic ones, So, and then also remember that success is not always instant financial success. Okay, you might just have some little wins. You might say, oh man, we had our first 100 visitors to our website. Not a lot of them bought anything, but hey, we got 100 views, 100 people that came through. That might lead to some stuff about some things you can do differently. Like, why didn't 100 people buy? What can we do differently? Or just like with our Kids Suits site that we just launched, kidsuits.com. We recently passed 70 orders. And it's really been on cruise control. I haven't really, I'm kind of letting, I got a strategy of organically SEO stuff going on with it. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I was happy having 70 orders from this new platform, from this new store that nobody has ever heard of before. And it was like, wow, 70 orders, 70 people has purchased from us since we launched this thing that nobody ever heard of a couple months ago. Like, that's amazing. Support. You need to have meaningful goals, okay? Just really understand and redefine what you're trying to do for realistically, and, just redefine what you want to do expectation-wise, okay? If you have that right, that also control the fear, control the self-doubt. When you say, okay, that's obtainable. Oh, I could do that. Or I could, whoop-de-whoop. Whatever you could do, just control your expectations, okay? I think just will super help you out, okay? So, hey, that's the episode. Short and sweet, I think. I don't know how much, what's it been, 15 minutes? Who knows? But anyways, that's what it is. We're talking about self-doubt and fear. I hope this helped you out. Please, leave some comments below. Let us know what you're thinking. How do you overcome fear? How do you overcome self-doubt? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? Or maybe you have some questions, and I'll gladly answer them there. So till next time, please subscribe to our channel. Please, please, please. If you're liking these videos, liking what we're doing, share it with somebody. Don't just keep it to yourself. Share this stuff. Okay? Until next time, I will catch you on the 9% show. Peace.